Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology, coming to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Are these just like crazy, crazy days? Every day I'm afraid to turn the news on. I'm afraid to do much of anything. It's amazing how they have us living in fear about what they're going to do to us next. It feels that way. We have all this thing going on about school mandates and vaccine mandates and critical race theory and all these things that we never could have predicted even, a year ago. And then on top of it, many of you know that we've been fighting SB 357. That is a bill that is taking place on Capitol Hill. In fact, it's pretty much taken place, and it has passed the Senate, and it has passed the Assembly, including the Appropriations Committee. It is being held on Senator Wiener's desk. He decided to hold it the weekend before the recall so that that wouldn't affect the recall election. And I thoroughly expect that thing to be sent off to Governor Newsom and to be signed by the end of the year. What is SB 357? Well, it is a bill that will legalize street prostitution. It will basically make it so law enforcement cannot intervene in what they call loitering for prostitution. And that is going to just change everything in our lives. I share this with people and nobody seems to know much about it. And I've been pounding the pavement on this thing ever since I heard about it about 3 or 4 months ago, but it's still out there. So it's not too late if you want to prevent this for you to contact your governor and say no to SB 357. It's not too late. I don't know that it'll stop him, but at least we made an effort. So just Google how to reach Governor Newsom and send him off your opinion. The bill is SB 357. I truly appreciate it. I spent a fortune buying press releases and stuff to educate you all because I believe it's going to change absolutely everything. It is actually called the California Safe Streets Act. Nothing could be further from the truth of that. And it's even positioned as a human trafficking bill because the idea there is that will make it so law enforcement cannot target especially women and women of color that are out engaged in commercial sex. Well, I think there are better ways to protect a sex worker than to just make it so law enforcement cannot intervene. There are many things we can be doing to assist without just legalizing street prostitution. The crazy part about this bill is that it has no limitations on it. It's just insane to me that nobody realizes how this goes. That if law enforcement cannot intervene, you are going to have street prostitution everywhere. It's not going to be like in Las Vegas where it's in a building, it's confined, you don't have to watch it. There's health checks, there's government regulations, and like that. No, this bill just basically says that it'll be legal for you to do that anywhere. And it'll be in front of your business. It'll be in front of your home. It'll bring people from all over the world. It'll bring people out of massage parlors out onto the street that are engaged in prostitution. It'll affect the homeless. It'll affect your truck stops. It's going to affect everything in your life, and yet they don't want to admit to that. So that bill is SB 357. If you want to write to your governor, well, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd do that. So for the rest of this show, I want to talk about indicators. People come up to me and they go, well, what am I looking for? You hear about the sex trafficking or sextortion, child pornography seems like it's everywhere. So what am I looking for? Well, I have been an advocate against sex trafficking, especially labor trafficking also, but sex trafficking for almost going on 14 years now, 13, well, it was 2001, going on 2002. So I've been doing it a long time. And I do not believe that there is a sex trafficking activity taking place around every street corner. I don't. I think it could be if we legalize prostitution, because that does not keep a pimp from beating up a girl or making money off her efforts or keeping all of her money or giving her a quota. But right now, I believe it is prevalent, more prevalent than most of us realize. But I'm not one of these crazy people that says it's absolutely everywhere. I believe that it is in certain places, and there are indicators to look for. If you want to assist in combating human trafficking, you don't have to go down to the motel and take on the cartel. In fact, I highly recommend that you don't get involved in stranger identified kind of trafficking, because many of the traffickers are gangs and cartels. And you don't need to be involved in that. You can report it, you can take note of it, you can watch for it, and you can watch for signs of it in your own family. Family trafficking is a big thing in Southern California. It's mostly a broken family where maybe a mother or father is on meth and they abuse their children and share that abuse with other people. Or they will have the child be put out there for compensation or to get photos back. That is still child pornography, even if it's not for money. But you will see that kind of thing. But what normally is happening is that you see a young person, 13, 14, 15 years old, or maybe an adult, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. You're still considered a minor at 17, so I misspoke there. But, what you're seeing is what looks like a relationship that is endangered, that is not going in a healthy manner. And I'm going to spend the next hour sharing with you what kinds of indicators to look for sex trafficking. If I get to it, I'll even cover sextortion and child pornography. But I want to talk about what kind of things that you should be looking for. First of all, the relationship often starts out with a new relationship. It may be on a dating site. It may be one of those hookup sites. More girls are trafficked than guys. When we get into sextortion, more guys are sextorted. That means blackmail with an illicit photo. More guys are sextorted, but more girls are victims of sex trafficking. So it'll often start out with a fantasy relationship. Maybe they met online. Maybe they sent out a TikTok video and somebody contacted them and says, hey, I can get you a great contract. Send me more photos. Maybe they are on one of those hookup sites. Those hookup sites are by their very nature dangerous because they literally mean no commitment. There's no bones about it. If you're on a hookup site, that you're not going to have a commitment. And so all of a sudden you're seeing, or another one that it can be, is a girl that hooks up with a new girlfriend. 60% of our girls are recruited by another girl. And so suddenly it's a new relationship. And you're listening to this thing going, I'm not sure how this really is a good thing. You pay attention to that relationship. Is your child doing all the giving and they're doing all the demanding? Do they seem to be controlling the behavior of your child? Suddenly they have a new interest that takes priority over everything. Maybe they're obsessive compulsive suddenly in that relationship, where they're maybe being a bit secretive in it. You walk into the room and they shut down their iPad, or their phone. They'll turn it away. Maybe they put a calculator on the front of their phone. If you see a calculator on the front of your phone, don't think your kid is adding and subtracting. They are, hiding other apps. And it's important that you have open dialogue. If you see the dialogue changing, where somebody else is being given a lot more priority on the influence, think about what is happening. If you get a chance to look at the phones, and I highly recommend you do that. In fact, I'm a firm believer that when you give a young person a phone, you make that clear. This is your phone that you are loaning to them because you trust them. But because it's your phone, you do check it from time to time. They need to share with you. Yes, we all want a little privacy, But if you start seeing this go in a dangerous way, then what you need to do is be willing to intervene there. And make no bones about it. If you think your kid is up playing on a railroad track and there's a train coming, you're going to push your kid off the track. And those phones are no different, mom and dad. You own them. You have the right to look at it. Well, we're just getting started. We are up against a break, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen up, folks. You no longer have to drive out of the IE for a great restaurant experience. The Toasted Barrel, an upscale casual steakhouse located in Corona, has been winning award after award for their great diverse menu, service, ambience, wine, and cocktails. Customers call the Barrel the perfect date night. Inland Empire Magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant 4 years in a row. Wine Spectator recognized the Toasted Barrel's wine program for their award of excellence. Toasted Barrel is famous for their certified Angus beef, prime, Wagyu, and Kobe steaks, and they have some of the best pasta and seafood around. With happy hour and daily specials every day of the week, their appetizers and drink selections are the best around. Live music starts every Friday and Saturday at 5:30. Planning a dinner party, wedding rehearsal, family gathering, or holiday party? Look up Toasted Barrel online and make your reservation today.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. I am the host of your show, and we are also the president and CEO of an organization called Million Kids, Million. Million Kids is a local organization here in the Inland Empire. We've been operating since 2008. We're a small but mighty organization. God has been with us all the way, has blessed us immensely, especially in the last year, which has been probably the most difficult year of my entire life. All over the place. With the COVID hitting, we had to completely change our business model where we literally had to use social media and these broadcasts. And I'm very, very grateful for AM 590 and our relationship with them to be able to get our message out there. I'm very grateful to Zoom that can allow us to do trainings on these shows. I'm also grateful for an organization called Children's Fund. They have made it possible for us to continue Zoom training. If you want to get in-depth training on human trafficking, please go to childrensfund.org and sign up for some of those trainings. It is the best way for us to give you that in-depth kind of training if this is your passion and you want to do that. It has been one of the most challenging times, but it is amazing how God has been with us and has held our hand and brought wonderful people into our lives that have supported us and worked with us and stayed with us. And while I'm on a roll, before I get back to the indicators, I'll just share with you, made it possible that the film that we had always dreamed about on sextortion can actually be made and released. And that is going to happen. It will happen in February. We're hoping for February 8th. I have seen the film. It is a worthy film. Stephen Peake is the producer. It is my passion to get it into schools all over America, but it is being handled in conjunction with Homeland Security beyond our wildest dreams. It was actually filmed inside of Homeland Security, part of it, and it will just be a powerful, powerful tool for our kids. And that had been my dream, which I thought wasn't really ever going to happen. And it happened right during COVID when everything was so very difficult. So I'm very, very grateful for all the people who support our work, who have made donations to us, that have waited for this film and all the challenges that went with it. It is going to happen, and we're very excited for that. I'm going to get back now to talk about these indicators and what to look for. A lot of times, and let's say it's starting with your child, it'll start with some sort of enticement, but that enticement is usually based on a previous behavior of your child, going on to things like TikTok, and I'm not putting TikTok down. Apps are not good or bad. They literally are set up so that they can be used for good, or if your child is not educated in the dangers of them, they can be used for recruitment. They look for predators, pimps, predators, pedophiles. They look for salacious videos of young people taking all kinds of sexual chances out there. They look for somebody that's waiting to be recognized or discovered. They watch for kids on these dating sites like Tinder and Meet Me and so many of those. My Laugh Out Loud, My LOL is a big one. Squirt is another one that's on there. Grindr, Grindr. And they watch for those postings. If your child is placing postings that are basically an open invitation, if you will, things like mom and dad are fighting again, or I broke up with my boyfriend, or I'm fighting weight, I just cannot get the weight off, or I've been really down lately, I'm worried about my grades, I think I'm going to get a D in geometry. All of those are open doors. Anything that makes it open so that they, the pedophile or the predator, can come in and start to take advantage of that open invitation. Your child will not see that as an open invitation. They see it as an expression of the fact that they're struggling, and they're struggling publicly. Well, it is important that your child is able to admit that they're struggling, but it's not good to do that on the World Wide Web, where everybody can see it and take advantage of it. These guys will come in and go, oh, baby, I'm here for you. You know, you are not fat. You are not overweight. You are beautiful. You are talented. Let's get acquainted. You're my kind of girl. I'm sorry you broke up with your boyfriend, but he doesn't know what he's missing. And I share with kids, do not be posting that kind of stuff on the open World Wide Web, because what you're really doing is looking for someone to come in and make you happy or take care of you. And that is an open invitation for someone to groom you. They will come in and start to fill that void. I share with kids that if you are needing to be taken care of, then you are going to be vulnerable to absolute strangers who want to take advantage of you. And that's important to see that. So watch for signs of low self-esteem. If your child has low self-esteem, start to take a look at that early on. Most of the young people who get engaged in commercial sex will find out that they have low self-esteem, or they have been previously violated in some way. Maybe they've sent a naked photo and somebody's tried to blackmail them. Maybe they were in a relationship that went bad, and maybe there's some photos out there, or maybe something happened that the other party is sharing, and they feel shame and embarrassment. I often say that one of the ways to really put a bulletproof vest around your child is to be blunt. The internet is blunt. We cannot afford to live in like 1960 where we don't talk about sex. We need to be able to tell kids there is no such thing as damaged goods. You know, pimps, pedophiles, predators, child pornographers, the way they will keep our kids enslaved is they will tell them, you are ruined. You can't get forgiveness. That photo is out there forever. You might as well go ahead and do this because you're ruined. I've often said that I believe that the fear of damaged goods is probably the greatest fear of all mankind. We all make mistakes, but don't let that hold you up. Talk to your child about self-esteem is a decision you make. You get one life. And you can either go for the gold and do that well, or you can feel bad for yourself and feel like a victim. Victims get taken advantage of over and over and over because they have a victim mentality. The, oh, poor me, somebody has to help me mentality. And if you have a child that has low self-esteem and they're looking for that solution in a relationship online, I can guarantee you it isn't going to go well. Somewhere along the line, that child is going to find somebody they think has the magic key for them rather than for them to do the hard work themselves. You see, I believe that self-esteem is a decision you make and a gift you give yourself. And I think it's important for you to have that discussion with your child. A lot of people are misguided. They think self-esteem comes with the DNA, and they think, well, I was just born with low self-esteem. No, you have accepted that you are not valued. It is once you decide that you're going to not accept that anymore and that you are going to accept that you're a person of value and start finding and looking for ways to reinforce that with your child. Now, I'm not talking about that stupid kind of stuff about your child always has to win or they're not going to be a valuable person. Of course not. We all lose. Sooner or later, every one of us lose something somewhere, and we get violated. We get betrayed by people we thought that we could trust forever, people that we once admired and shared our lives with. Betrayal is part of life. And what we learn is that does not affect the value of who you are. It's about who they are. And so we get to make choices in this sort of life. But the way that we keep our kids from being vulnerable is to watch this and help your child have strong self-esteem. So one of the big indicators that your child might be becoming a victim of exploitation is if you start to see them feeding their low self-esteem. If they start to cut or be depressed. We're going to go deeper into it in the next segment. We are up against that break, so stay with us. Be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton with Million Kids and this show, and we are talking about indicators about what to look for if you think your child is being involved in sex trafficking or sextortion, where they're being blackmailed. So low self-esteem, if you see that happening where they're really emotional, a lot of times if a female, and I know this is, I'm going to get beat up for being sexist, but guys and girls handle shame differently. And those are indicators that the person is functioning from shame-based self-esteem. And a lot of times with girls, it'll be a thing where they're just highly volatile. You can say something and they just kind of blow up and they get defensive and they break down and cry, or they kind of throw a temper tantrum, and they're unrealistic in their conversation, and they make wild allegations that, as far as you can tell, are not based on truth. And those are all signs that your child is dealing with some deep-seated potential shame. A lot of times that'll happen with a guy. If he's being blackmailed, and maybe he's in a computer game where he is part of the guys. This is often how it happens with guys. They get in a video game. These video games have a lot of pornography in them, even if it's animated pornography. They're stimulated. They think they're talking to some hot 15-year-old girl, or maybe they're talking smack with the guys in the chat room while they're all looking at some sort of pornography in the video game that you and I look at. We can't figure out a thing that's happening there. But then suddenly your child is trapped. They've sent a photo. Maybe they offer to meet up with someone. That person's behavior will change. The indicators for that will be that they shut down, that they get very private. They get tense and anxious. Maybe they suddenly need a lot of money. We see cases like that where the kid knows where the family gold is hidden and will go in and try to sell out the family gold, or jewelry, will steal jewelry or steal money from the family because they're paying a blackmailer. More often than not, what they're doing is being forced into sending more illicit photos. So they'll want more privacy than they normally want. And your mom and dad, you're like, you don't want to invade their privacy. They're 13, 14, 15. They need some room. But hey, there's privacy and there's privacy. And if you see that combined with other behaviors where they seem anxious and maybe unable to sleep, maybe they're starting to cut, watch their behavior going to school. That suddenly maybe their hours change. They go to school, but they can't stay. And they will start coming back in because if they've got photos out there, they don't know who knows about it. Also, maybe their hours, if it's a girl, that all of a sudden they're gone a lot. And they don't want to account for where they're going. And especially if it's with a new girlfriend. Maybe you have some bling showing up where all of a sudden she's getting a new tattoo or some new jewelry or some new nails that you're not quite sure how that was acquired. And you want some serious answers on it. And the answers are pretty sparse. They may suddenly start having some extra money. Instead of needing money, maybe they have some extra money. Then there's no way to explain it. That can happen if your child is doing amateur pornography and selling it. We just had this huge case this last year with Pornhub, where they were advertising on site that you can make $40,000 a week sending in your naked amateur pornography. And then when they were caught and they were being sued, they had to take down more than 9 million videos, many of child pornography that our kids thought that they were going to make $40,000 a week and were sending it in. So watch for new nails, new clothes, new hairstyles, new iPads, new bling, new relationships, somebody having extra money. And the reverse of that is needing extra money. And kind of in a panic about getting that. Watch for kind of a giddy-like excitement about the fact that they may be chosen for something in modeling, that they've been discovered on TikTok. They have 1 million followers, and now somebody wants more photos. And they don't have to be sexual photos in the beginning. That's usually how a predator will work. They'll start out by somebody who's doing something provocative, making it known that they're available and vulnerable. And they'll just chat with them. Wow, you're really hot. You're really good. You know how to make the moves. I love the way you do your hair. Love the way you sing. I love your energy. Let's meet on Instagram and let's talk a little bit. I'm an agent. I'm going to need some more videos than they currently have. And so send them over. Could you just make it a little bit more risque? Nothing obscene, of course. We don't do that, but just a little more risque. And pretty soon that trust is building. And they're building that fantasy. I've written a book about this, by the way, called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. And in that process, what you see is that grooming is looking for an opening that you can begin to win over that person. What in our business, we call that available and vulnerable. If you're willing to talk to strangers online and begin to share, it doesn't always start with, hey, send me a nudie. It'll start with, wow, you're really good, and I'm an agent, and, can you get me something with a little more pizzazz in your dance? Let's try this out. Get me a video. I'm going to shop that little bit. And they may show you phony kinds of acceptances, and you think you have a modeling contract. And then pretty soon they're saying, well, you're really good, and, we're getting great feedback. I can get you in the big time, but it's going to cost like $15,000. We've got to get you completely made over in a modeling video, and, we've got to get you out there to New York and California so that we can get you seen by TV agents and like that. And so and that's when it'll begin to start to really lure them in. So it can go like from A to Z in 30 seconds, where it's like, this is really hot, get me something nude. And that child will go along with it if that child is vulnerable, or to someone who takes more coercing and can go on for months, or it can just go for a short period of time where the blackmail begins. And now your child's life has changed dramatically as they are trying to keep the blackmailer at bay. In that case, usually what happens is they'll start cutting. If you have a child that is starting to cut, get them into counseling as soon as possible and stop in your tracks, get you counseling and say, what is behind this? Watch for being in some sort of fantasy thinking that they change their hours. Now, this can happen where if they've sent a naked photo, that person is saying, I own you now. And, I want you here at this time in front of your webcam, in front of your iPad, and I want more photos. And by the way, I saw your little sister. I want them too. Or it can go into things where literally they want to meet up, or they force your child into sex acts for money. We had a large case like that, the Eliberto Jacoba case, 110 victims in Riverside and San Bernardino County, where they showed up and had sex with him, and then he forced them into prostitution. And these kids are living at home. So suddenly their behavior has changed. That suddenly what is happening is that they can't sleep. and they're coming in very late at night and their grades are dropping, and maybe you see some bite marks or bruise marks or some hickeys on their being, or a new tattoo that you did not authorize, staying out too late, losing sleep, not being able to sleep. That's a big one. Their eating behaviors will change. A lot of times they get anorexic or bulimic, or they are not eating regularly. A lot of times, if you have a pimp involved and they're trying to live a double life, they will withhold food from these kids until they perform their quota. You see, once you get into the life of sex trafficking, you'll have a quota. In Riverside, San Bernardino County, it runs about $1,000 a night, sometimes $800. If they're very young, like 14, it can be $500 at first. And, if you don't make that much money in a night, you don't get to eat. So watch for bruise marks and bite marks. Watch for a shutting down of the emotions where they just are kind of numb and unable to talk. All of this is based on shame-based behavior. It's based on the idea that something has happened that has changed their image of themselves, and they are trapped and they have no way to share that with you. So this is Opal Singleton. I'm president of Million Kids. I'd ask you to stay with us. We are coming up against that break, but we're going to finish this out really hard and heavy. So stay with us. Be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about some of the indicators that you want to look for if you think someone you know is being involved in sex trafficking or sextortion. So some more things that you may want to take a look at. Number one, they may show up with one or more prepaid phones that you did not buy them. If that happens, you should panic right now. You should take a look at that and go, where did that phone come from? Who is that connected to? And download that phone. If you don't know how to do that, then go to your local vice unit or your cyber crimes unit. Because what happens here is once a kid is involved in commercial sex, they will often place the ads, I'm talking about pimps and pedophiles, will place the ads on sex sites, and each site will have a separate phone. So these are prepaid phones that you want to look for. That is like a billboard in your life that your child's life has gone upside down. Watch for new tattoos that have another person's name on them, or maybe a rose made out of dollar bills, or a crumb. Those are pimping brands. Watch for new bruises and cuts and scratches and bite marks, damage to the knees and damage to the feet. Keep an eye out then for attempts to run away. That is a major sign that there is some sort of conflict going on. If your child has been or is engaged in some sort of drug or alcohol abuse, that is a huge warning sign that there might be a lot more going on than just being addicted. Maybe they're lying about their age, or they have a false ID. That is important to take an idea there the minute you see it. If you ever see a text or something on your child's phone that says daddy or wifey, W-I-F-E-Y, wifey or wifey-in-law, you need to immediately take that phone and go to your cyber crimes or human trafficking task force. Now, I'm going to give you a reporting number also that you can contact and report this anonymously. But if any of this is happening in your life, you need to stop in your tracks and get a grip. You can always contact me and I can help you, guide you, and like that. But I am not 911. I do work with the local law enforcement. And the one I'm going to give you a reporting number here before we're through. But I want you to pay attention to these. Now, the way you don't handle it is to confront your child in a combative manner. Your child is operating from a shame-based thought process. They're already being told that they're destroyed, they're ruined, and the last thing your child can afford is to be diminished in your eyes. That is the loneliest place in the world. You know, that's one of the hard parts about sextortion. I wrote an entire chapter on that in my book, Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls, is that when that kid gets trapped, whether it's male or female, they suddenly realize they're being threatened, their life has changed forever, they're going to be destroyed at school, and they look around and there is no one to blame. They did this all by themselves because they got lured in, they got taken, they got enticed into that fantasy relationship where they committed an act that is shame-based behavior. If there's ever a time that they need a non-judgmental adult to come alongside of them and accept them and put their arm around them, it is right now. But they may not be open and receptive to that because they can't admit it to themselves, let alone admit it to you. If you think this is happening, get really quiet and sit with your child and say, I see something. By the way, your child may be 17 years old and 6'5", but it's all the same because you have a child in your soul that has been damaged and is based on shame-based behavior. Sit with them and say, you know, I see you dealing with something really heavy here. You know, can I help you? Is this something that we can talk about? I will do my best not to judge you, but you can't do this alone. Let's talk about it. If they can't, then you can say, is there an illicit photo involved that I can help with? You know, this is going to be the toughest thing we ever did. But I'm proud of you. I know you. You're a person of moral standards. You're a person of character. And all of us make a mistake. The difference is how you turn that mistake around, how you decide that you're not going to let it destroy the rest of your life. That yes, you made a mistake and you'll pay a price, but together we are going to turn this around. And then we have to take that phone and take that down to law enforcement. If you're being trafficked, then please go to your local human trafficking task force. I'll give you my name if you need to know how to reach them. My name is Opal, O-P-A-L, at millionkids.org, MILLION, millionkids.org. You can report all of this anonymously at this number, 1-888-3737-888. Let me say it again, 1-888-3737-888. In the meantime, I would encourage you to pay attention to your life and your family's life. And, if you see these signs, then understand it. If you want to order my books, you can by ordering them at millionkids.org. They're $16, $19, $35 for the two. I'll be happy to sign them and send them to you. And it will be a way to educate you. The other thing that you can do is follow Million Kids at millionkids.org. Go in and sign up for insider alerts. Just go to millionkids.org, go in and sign up for insider alerts. And with that, you will be able to stay educated. I want to close out today by telling you that I am greatly humbled and deeply grateful for each and every one of you that support this show. I also am grateful for my friends Ed and Sherry that operate Toasted Barrel. They had a really bad incident down there not too long ago. And if you want to have a lovely evening with your spouse, please go to the Toasted Barrel in Corona. They are incredible people that have lived through COVID, lived through some very tough times, and they run one heck of a restaurant. And I love them to death. I'm grateful for their friendship. I'm also grateful for all the rest of you that have stood by us over this last year, that have supported us with your finances and supported us with your prayers. Getting this movie out has given us more pushback than we could have ever dreamed possible. But it has come around. It will be out in February. Stay tuned. You're going to hear a lot more about it. It is more exciting than anything I could have ever imagined. This is your film, not my film. This is the film you believed in, that you wanted for your children and your grandchildren. And I'm very, very excited. I so much appreciate each and every one of you that follow me and kids. They write to me at Opal, O-P-A-L, at millionkids.org. The many of you that have come along and supported us financially, but also with your prayers. This has been a battle of all times, and it's been a spiritual battle. But what I have found is God has been with us in every way possible. And I so much appreciate each and every one of you. We have seen over the last year just a great increase in the number of kids who have been violated through sextortion. And I believe that this film will go out there. It won't come till next February, but it is on its way. We're in the process right now of getting it with the live streaming distributors and getting it out there. I believe it's a film that every parent and every teenager in America and around the world should look at and understand this incredible, devastating crime called sextortion. It affects families, it affects parents, and it is so unnecessary. Once kids understand how sextortion works, what I find is they're actual leaders, that they care and that they will take the high road. But it is up to you and I to equip them. It is up to you and I to stand beside them and take the fear out of it and give them the leadership that they need. So thank you to each and every one of you. I hope you're going to have a great next week, put your arms around your family. Look at your spouse and tell them how much you admire them and how important they are to you. And give your kids a hug. Let them know how proud you are of them, that they're good people, and you're proud to be related to them. You folks have a great week, and we'll see you next week on AM 590, The Answer.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.